one tonight, I'm going to drill it home, is live. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to have a little chat now with Casey Bailey. So, Casey, come on over. Again,
hello.
thanks for coming on the Amplify Sounds stage.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I'm going to say, like, you have to hold your microphone up.
Sorry.
We're really like, we're really cool around here. So you've had actually a pretty cool year, I think.
I really have.
Every
yeah,
time we've been in like contact, you've been like, no, I'm mad busy, I'm mad busy, I'm
mad busy. Every time, mad busy.
So like, what have you been up to?
Oh man, so I got my manuscript for my next book will be published next year. So I've been working on that. My first play will be going on the stage next year, so I'm working on that. And lockdown just gave me the opportunity to get back in the studio and just work on some music as well. So
nice.
It's been a blessing.
Nice. I'm glad that you've, used it massively productively. But in that hecticness, I'm glad that you've had time to like come and perform here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to be back on the stage, man.
What's it been like actually to be back on a stage? Like, when was the last time you performed?
Wow. The last time I performed.
Actually, rewind, pause that, because I saw you doing a cheeky little performance of 2020.
Well, yeah. The last time I performed live was in January. Yeah.
Where was that?
In India.
No way.
Yeah. Back when we could fly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was wild because it was like a big media company set it up, but I didn't realize how big it was. So they've been putting our faces out like for ages before. So I thought I was going to go there and be this like random unknown person. People were like, oh my God, Casey Bailey. I was like, how do you know who I am?
That must have been absolutely
kind of wild.
mad.
Yeah.
And
wild.
now, like, you come back and you're kind of like chilling again, back in Birmingham. You're a Nechells boy.
I am indeed.
What was it like growing up there?
Do you know what? It was interesting at times, but I wouldn't change it for the world, man. My family and my extended family, all my people that I grew up around, love the place. I love the place. I drove a long way to go back there today to get my fresh haircut, hold tight bigs. So love Nechells.
Nice. I'm familiar with it. I'm a Bromford girl myself, so
okay, so you know,
yeah. So
I would be in Bromford. We used to do all the garage sets in Bromford, so
exactly. So, how does someone from Nechells, a guy from Nechells, like grow up to become Birmingham's poet laureate?
I think I'm a bit fortunate, really. I always say fortunate. I think I'm a bit fortunate that actually a lot of people from the kind of place that I've come from are not telling their story through poetry. So that gives me a kind of unique spin. So like that helps me out a little bit, and I'm just passionate about what I write about.
Nice. How did you get into it? Because obviously, I'm a huge fan of your rapping, but actually, I haven't yet delved into the poetry so much. But I kind of want to know, like, what came first? Was it the poetry? Was it the rapping? Was music the lead?
Originally, many years ago, without exposing my oldness, I was a rapper and a grime MC.
Nice.
But growing up in Nechells, rapping about where I was coming from, what was going on in my area, I thought I was kind of shedding the light on it, but I realized after a while that I was adding to some of the mess in the area. So I kind of stopped rapping for a long time. I started writing again when I became a teacher and had a group of kids who didn't engage with English, and I was working on them expressing themselves and learning like key literary techniques like metaphor and simile. And so we started writing, and they started saying, "Sir, you write something," and I'm like, well, "Okay, I'll write something." And then I was like, "Actually, I remember I quite like doing this writing thing."
Wow,
so then I did the poetry, and then I was always going to come back to the music. I just can't get away from it.
That is nuts. So, like, stop drill, that's like a perfect metaphor for what you were talking about how, I guess you weren't, you were sort of perpetuating that lifestyle, but you're more intellectual about what you do, so.
I try.
Yeah. And so you said that you're writing your second book?
I am indeed. Yeah.
Tell people about the first book, and then so that they can go and buy it if they haven't got it already.
So the first book, published by Verve Poetry Press, is called Adjusted. It came out in 2018. Please do go and buy it. My publisher will thank me for saying. And that's what you should spend your Christmas money on. And my second book coming out next year is called Please Do Not Touch. It's published with Birmingham. It was originally inspired by when you go into like museums, art galleries, National Trust houses. They've got this stuff that they've taken from all over the world they pull it on a shelf and they say, please do not touch. And I kind of thought the hypocrisy, like if you didn't touch it in the first place, it wouldn't be here. So maybe if you didn't touch, we wouldn't need to have these signs. So secretly in my head, I'm like, if you stole it, I can steal it. But I'm not stealing any of it.
That sounds really cool, actually. Obviously, you know, I'm really impressed that you're Birmingham's Poet Laureate, which sounds hugely regal.
It does, don't it?
Yeah, it sounds.
Doesn't come with a hat or anything.
What? No furs.
Doesn't come with a crown or nothing.
Scroll. I'd really like, before we get into your next track, I'd really quite like to hear, if it's cool, one of the poems that got you to become Birmingham's Poet Laureate.
So yeah, okay, I'll do a poem called Dear Birmingham.
Yeah, talk to.
And this poem is one of the poems that kind of solidified me as a poet, I guess. I think it goes like this. Dear Birmingham. Dear Birmingham. That doesn't even sound right. Yo, Brum. That's the kind of thing that I would write. That's not because you're not dear to me or always here for me, but I have heard your barker more than once. I felt your bite, so how you keeping? Still having trouble with your sleeping? When I think of you, I think about the long extended evenings, nights that turn to mornings. Good brothers snatched from young mothers. I think about the nights that we spent mourning. Think of Charlene Ellis, Letitia Shakespeare, their family pain at the shame knowing that they ain't here. It's crazy how quick a mum or dad can lose their baby. Brum, I love you. But at times I truly feel like you've betrayed me. Brum, I love you. And I know I seem focused on your flaws, but I have seen so many die, claiming postcodes that are yours. I've no intention to draw attention to funerals I've attended, just to mention your malfunction so one day they may be mended. Sometimes I think you're so sweet. But do you do that to distract me? Man, I never thought that Cadbury would turn out to be so crafty. Surely we could have fought for whole nuts. Brum, ain't we tough enough? Instead, we showed no nuts and decided we should button up. And I don't want to sound like a complainer or rant like a moaner. And I realise it's been a long time since Rover, but the drama and the rubble since they built the last bubble means this will be a long bridge for those people to get over. Brum, I love you. And I know this isn't clear from my statements, but as a man, you didn't live up to my boyhood expectation. Still, if they told me to let go, I'd have to tell them no, no, no. Like Amy offered rehabilitation, the home of my relations, birthplace of my dreams, fueling my motivation, stronger than kerosene. They call it the second city. But whenever I spend a second out the city, I know there's nowhere better I could be. Proud Birmingham son, married one of its daughters, met her in Kings Norton, bought the ring in jewelry quarter, now I use her like an anchor. My connection to Brum, like the anchor hallmarks that we're pressing in Brum, home of the innovators, focused on solutions like Matthew Bolton leading industrial revolutions. It's easy to have a vision. Anybody can dream, different to reach goals, burn coal, make steam. You ain't seen Brum. If you ain't seen the tower blocks and tried to define where the clouds start and the towers stop, you ain't heard Brum unless you've heard the local rave music and seen the wild Brummies who were slaves to it. Arcadian, lit up like an arcade treat where the shots are on offer, high heels on feet. 20-somethings and late teens heading to Broad Street. Before you know it, UB40 sipping red wine in King's Heath. Brum's are home to the canals, where I write poetry and think the water's still. Only thing flowing is the ink of horses pulling boats. I know that Brum's engraved upon my soul like the walls holding scars of old ropes. They'll never kill my love of Brum. So if my passion is their target, tell them bring a ring of bulls. Bet you still they couldn't mark it. Like the shadow of the council house mountain or the fountain laying under Brum, I promise. I will stay around like the rotunda. I don't need 10 letters. You know that ain't me. You know I spell Birmingham, H-O-M-E, so wherever I may be, I will carry your thoughts with me. Forever yours. Mister, I'm in love with my city. Brum. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
That was amazing. Like, yeah. Well, I can see why you're Birmingham's Poet Laureate.
Thank you.
I'm proud to say that you're our city's Poet Laureate.
Jeez.
I think that's lovely. Again, so you're going to play one more song for us.
I am.
I love this song.
Thank you.
It makes me think of like being in a car, windows down, like reminiscing.
This was the vibe.
Yeah,
this was the vibe I had.
Thinking about all like friends and just the old neighbourhoods and stuff.
Yep.
So I'm going to let you get on. We are going to hear your next song, which is called Changes. So I'm going to leave you on stage again. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, for the bros. Listen.